We are in Blender, and here is the ramp that we are going to model and UV unwrap so we can export it into our Unity race game as an FBX file. So this is the finished model here with the textures. And yeah, okay, so for references, I did do some quick references. Ended up looking at this ramp here. It's a real ramp. Hot Wheels is something from my childhood. Here we have a real life Hot Wheels track with X Games. And I do have some other references that I looked at real quick. Standard Hot Wheels. This is the old Hot Wheels track. And I kind of like this ramp. And they kind of try to copy this ramp, although it doesn't really have this flare. This flare is for so you can land easier, but we're not really going to be doing that. It's just some other Hot Wheels stuff. Yeah, so that's my references that I got. So let's get started on this, and we're going to really start this in a very basic shape. And here you can see the basic shape that we're going to use. Here's the front view. Here's the top view. Here's the side view. And you can see here I have some measurements for the basic shape. So step one is going to be just blocking out the basic shape of this. We'll come back to this to get the exact measurements later. And then step two, it's going to be adding feet to this. This actually doesn't have measurement because it doesn't make sense. I just didn't do measurements. Okay, adding the feet, putting some edge loops in here, and moving this middle section straight up, just so we have some simple feet in here. So that's step two. Step three is we are going to add some edges to the side here. We're going to select all these polygons here, and we are going to extrude the sides to add a little edge here so we can do the railings. Okay, you can see here it's basically the same what we just saw, except we have a side here extended on both sides. Then the step four is going to be just building the railings. So we're going to select these polygons along this edge and extrude straight up to do the railings. And then we're going to add a little bevel on here in step six. Well, actually, sorry, step five. Step five, we are going to add a bevel along this edge all the way around, a bevel on the inside edge here, and a bevel across the top where you can't see it right now, but a bevel there, I believe. So we have a bevel that basically goes all around this edge here, just to give it a little bit more of a nice render effect. And then we are going to do the final tweaks, which are going to be removing these edges, these extra edges that we have here. We're going to remove these extra edges, collapse this edge down here so it has a nice flow. And then we're going to tweak the middle here so we have this little bit of an inset. When I was building it, as I was moving this in, as you move these up, you kind of get a little bit of an inset, and you have to kind of fix it anyway. So I decided, once I saw that, I decided, well, that's kind of nice to just scale that in a little bit and give that little bit of a detail there. So that's the final in 6. And then the next step obviously is going to be unwrapping the model, and that's going to be a separate video or different section of videos. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to go ahead and open up our we're going to do new. I'm going to load in the startup file. First things I want to do is do some preferences. I don't like to have it, well, it's working now because I actually have it set. But notice that if I move this, I'm still rotating around my selected objects. And I can actually center on my objects by using the num key here. And that's going to let me center on my objects. Pause. Yeah, I'm going to come back. I'm going to actually pause this video, and I'm going to come back to turn on my my keyboard toggle my keyboard information here. One moment. Okay, I'm back. I had to install my screencast keys, so you can see now that as I move my object around and as I use my keys, even my keyboard shows up here. You can see here how that's working very nicely. Okay, so preferences. One thing we need to do is we need to make sure you go to user preferences, and we're going to set it up so when I rotate around my currently selected objects. That's going to be under interface, rotate around selection. That should be selected. Now you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this, but it will make your life a lot simpler when you are modeling. Save user settings, and I can now close this. Now it's hard to see now because I have everything selected in the scene, so I'm rotating around everything. But if I select, just right click on the box to select it. Now I am rotating around only the box. Some other keys we need to remember for this is how do you center your view on the currently selected current selection. That's here in your numpad. If I hit the period key, notice how my view zooms in to my currently selected object. So that's going to be very nice. So first thing is, well, not first thing, let's rename this cube because it's no longer going to be a cube. By the way, I just started with a new scene like I did in the last video and set up my preferences. Now if I click here, double click here, and let's just call this ramp. Okay, that's going to be my ramp. The next thing is I want my ramp to rest on the ground. And if you see here on the grid, that's kind of the ground here. It's not really resting on the ground. And I want to make sure I move and scale my object in sub-object mode. Well, they call it edit mode here, because I don't want to have to start scaling this. Like if I start scaling this now, I'm going to have to reset my my X forms, otherwise it will be deformed in Unity. So I'm going to do all my scaling and my moving in edit mode. So I'm going to go here to edit mode. I'm going to select all my, well, they're already selected, but if I hit H, it deselects. Hit H again, I have all my vertices selected. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to my transforms. And if you don't have your transforms, that's going to be with the N key. You'll be able to bring your transforms back up. What we're going to do, we're going to move this, first of all these up 1 on the Y. And now I've moved it directly up on the Y, and it looks like the pivot's moved here, but that's just the current pivot of my selection. If I leave edit mode, which is again either going down here to edit mode or hitting the tab key, you can see that my pivot is nicely on the ground, and my geometry is starting from the ground up, which is what I want. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I want my pivot to be at the beginning of my ramp, like my geometry starting here, and then my ramp building out this way. And once again, I'm going to go to hit tab, go to sub-object mode. I'm going to move these vertices on the X, I believe. Well, actually, it's going to be the Y. I'm going to move everything 1 unit on the Y. Oh, yeah, that's where I want it to be, 1 unit on the Y. Okay. Now I have my pivot point. Leave edit mode. I have my pivot point right here, and I can start building my ramp out this direction on the Y. That's going to be much easier. Now I'm going to make sure I never move this or scale this unless I'm in sub-object mode. I know some people like to do it, start scaling this right now, but that causes the X forms to get deformed in other programs, or your transforms get screwed up. In this case, now, what else? Ooh, well, I guess this is going to start. We're going to have to start building our basic shape. So let's go look at our let's go look at our before we do that, I'm going to just look at some of my, just to remind you how I'm rotating my view around. Middle mouse button is going to rotate my view. We also have scrolling in and out to zoom. Hold down shift and middle mouse button pans. Okay, and we do have the numpad. If I hit 5, goes from orthographic to perspective. I am so used to working in perspective that I'm going to keep it in perspective when I'm in a perspective view. Only time I'm going to go to orthographic is if I actually go to what I think is an orthographic view, which is front. That should be orthographic. You can also hit 3 for the right orthographic view. That makes sense. And then we can also hit 7 for the top. That's the front. That's the right side. Okay. And then as soon as I rotate the mouse, it goes into perspective or orthographic. And then I hit 5 again to go back to perspective. So, okay. So that's just some standard navigations, which you should know by now. So what we're going to do, let's take a look at now the first step, like I talked about before. We need our basic shapes. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my shape 8 units. Now, by the way, I'm just using standard units. They're going to translate to Unity units quite fine. So I just left the standard units like they are. You don't have to play with any of the units. These are standard units. So that's going to be 8 of these grid units. Right now it's 2 units out, and you can tell that by actually the dimensions of the cube is 2 by 2 by 2. That's why I actually moved it up and over 1 and 1. But we're going to actually move this 8 units out. So it's going to be, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what we're going to do, we are going to go to edit mode. I think the easiest way is just to right click on this. Let's go to face down here. You can go to face down here by clicking the little face. We can right click on this, and we could probably and watch up here on the Y, we can actually just type this in. Yeah, we can actually just type up here to 8. There we go. Look at that. Now we could have moved it and snapped it and did a bunch of other stuff. I could actually just hit G to move this. To constrain it, it's going to be shift, and now it's going to constrain to my units. But if I want to constrain it to an actual axis, I can hit the Y, and then I can constrain it on that particular axis and snap it out. So I could have easily done that. Okay, so I could have easily just, and I'm going to just undo that just to give you 2 different ways of doing this. Okay, Control Z. Okay, so we're here, and I'm in object mode, and once again, I'm just showing you how I did it. If you did it the first time and you liked it, just watch. So I'm in, I go to edit mode, right click on the face I want to move. I know I want to move it, so that's the G key. And I want to constrain it on the Y, and I also want to snap it. So, and hitting Y constrains it on the Y, by the way. And now I want to constrain it straight out. I want to snap it to the grid, so that's going to be Control, and that it snaps to my grid. And I can go 8 units, and look up here, and you can see that it did go 8 units. Okay. I'm not using, if I turn snaps on here, that means they're on by default, and you have to use control to turn them off. I have them off by default. Okay, so next thing is, I believe I need to just move it up now. Go back here. So we have the 8 units out here, and then we're going to move. We do have a little bit of a lip here, which I'll add later, I believe. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to move the one down and the one up. So now I'm going to start moving edges. And the first thing is I'm going to move this edge. Right now we have a box that's like this. I'm going to move this box, this edge, up to 2.5 and then over 1/2 to put that edge right here. And then we'll have a kind of a shape like this. And then I'm going to come down and move this edge straight down until we have like a 0.5, I believe that is right here. So, or 0.05 it might be actually. Okay, so back to Blender. For this, I'm going to go to Edges mode. Okay, and I have this edge. For this, I could actually do this easier in the yeah, I'm gonna use my shift key, middle mouse button to move it down, and I'm gonna, so this is at 2, we need it 1, 3, 4. Oh, actually this does make sense. Wait a minute, let's see, what am I doing? 2.5. Yeah, we're just gonna move it up 2.5. That's it. So we're just gonna move this up 2.5. So right now it says Z2. I can once again use it manually, or I can just go in here, hit G, and now constrain it on the, what is it going to be? Constrain it on the Y. Nope. On the, what is X? Nope. That's not going to be it. X, Y, Z. Yeah, constrain it on the Z. So I hit the Z key here, and you can see it over in the left in my transforms on my N panel. You can see that I have a number that's coming up, but I can also once again just hit Shift, and look at that. I can get exactly what I want. And then when I want to release it, just hit right click or left click, and that accepts it. And I didn't mean to toggle that sideways, so we're going to go back to perspective. So now I have that set up there. Once again, you can see here that it's at 2.5. And that's exactly what I wanted here, from here to here, 2.5. Now we need to move it back half a unit here. Easy, easy peasy, easy peasy. I'm going to do this also in the right view, so you beginners can understand what's going on. And now what I'm going to do is, now once again, remember you have your number keys 1, 7, and 3. And Shift is going to let you recenter that. You can also, for instance, I have this selected and I want to zoom in on it. Remember what I told you earlier, you can also just use the numpad, and look at that, it zooms right in. Then use Shift and middle mouse and kind of get it what you want, and maybe zoom out so you can see the major units here. So what major unit do I want? Okay, yeah. So this is one unit here. I want to move it about right here in the middle. Once again, this is very easy to do. We are going to just, right now it's, we can actually just type in 7.5. Or we can use the other methods. Hit enter. That's 7.5. There you go. Okay. Or we can use G, grabbing the G, and constrain it on the y-axis with the Y, and then hold down the control to get it snapping to where we want it. So now we need to just do this one and move it all the way down here on the bottom. So I don't know what this line is. Looks like that's a rendering. Oh no, that's actually the light. Never mind. That's the light. It was confusing me. So let me go back to orthographic and go back to my 3 key. And actually, you know what? I do need to rotate this just so I can right click this, select it, make sure I don't have anything else selected. Okay, and I don't. You can see up here that I have edges. I have 1 of 12 selected. That's going to give me good feedback. And for this, once again, I could just move it down and snap it, but I would like to actually get more precise. And this time I am going to use the other tools. So it's going to be the G. Actually, I'm going to scroll in here and hold down Shift and move this into position. I'm going to I'm going to constrain this on the Z, but first I need to hit, I do want to move it. So here it's being moved, right? And then what do I want to do? I want to hit the Z to constrain it on the Z, and then I want to hold down Control, and I can snap it, and it's going to be at 0.1 Z units, and that's what I wanted. You can see here. That's very nice. So now I have my basic shape. I go back to my information here. I look at my other. Oh, actually, I have a little bit more work to do. So if I go to the top view, what I did is I flared the bottom out just a little bit. So this is 2 meters, which is, or 2, I should say 2 units, which is the box by default too. So I need to go to the end and flare it out 2.8, which is actually, if I go from the center here, this is 1 unit and 1.4 unit from the center, 1.4 unit that direction, and it's 2.8. And it's just going to be the bottom vertices. So I can actually just do this, I could probably do this all at once by using the edge, scaling that edge, or I can grab this vertice and move it out individually. I'm going to try to do it all at once. And this way, I'm going to rotate this, get this bottom edge. For this, I am going to go to, I think, the front view. I'm going to use num key to center that. Shift and middle mouse to get a better view of that. And now, so here we are at 2. I want to bring these out, each one of these out, about 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So hopefully I can remember the stop right here. So I'm gonna scale this edge because I grabbed an edge here. I'm gonna hit S, scale that edge out, and I'm gonna actually hold down Control. And I don't know if it's gonna give me, now this is not really gonna give me good feedback here, but I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right click. Left click to accept that. And that's basically it. Now, if I want to double check this, I can go to vertex mode, click this vertex, and you can see that vertex is 1.4 units from the center. And the same one here, negative 1.4 units. So, hey guys, look at that. That's our basic shape of our ramp. And I guess that's the end of this video, and look for the next video where we add the feet. I believe that's the next video. That's going to be, next video is going to be adding the feet. Yeah. Make sure you actually do a save for this. I'm going to put it in my new directory where I'm building these. Oops, not in the correct directory. Put it in a new directory, record steps. And this is just going to be called, this is going to be basic shape. Good idea to be saving as you're going. If I could spell, it would help. Basic shape. There you go. Save as Blender, basic shape. Here we go. Okay, we're back, and now we're going to cut some edge loops to create the feet. This is what we're looking for. Okay, so the first loop is 1.5 over from here, or 1.6 roughly, and then this next loop should be from this corner 1 and 1.5, and then this is maybe from this corner to here 1.6. Okay, if you're going to a reminder, this if you plan on making your own texture for this, then you can be a little bit loose with some of my measurements. If you plan on using my texture that I supplied, you're going to have to match it, the UVs to my texture. So you should follow and do, when I give precise measurements, you should actually put this precise measurements in. and you should try to get the basic shape as close as possible. So if you don't have the basic shape made, you might want to go and you try to do something radically different. You might want to go back and redo the first video. Okay, so let me continue. In order to do this, first thing I want to do, I'm going to go to my right view, orthographic right view. Yeah, I'm going to select my lamp here, and I'm just going to move that out of the way. Okay, and that's easy to do. If you grab either one of these axes, you can move things directly on your, which would have been a help instead of hitting the G and Z key, but okay, that's a shortcut. You can do that in the future. So now I'm going to put my first loop here. I'm going to zoom in so I can see this. Control R, I need that to select this with right click to select that, go to edit mode, and now Control R. It's waiting for me to select the ring. If you look down here on the bottom, down here, it says select the ring to be cut. So if I select here, it says, yeah, you want to cut that direction, which is what I want. If I go here, it's going to ask me to cut that direction, which I don't want. So let's go here, select these rings here, or I can do it at the bottom. And I could then I left click to accept that ring area that could be cut. And then I'm just going to go here and count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to left click once again, and that's been cut. Okay, and I'm going to do the next one, which is going to be Control R, and so asking me, yeah, where do I want to cut that loop? It's going to be here. Yeah, that's right. And this time I'm going to move it from here, counting from the bottom corner here. That's 1 unit, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's roughly 5. And I right click to accept that. I'm going to continue to cut the next 2 rings. Control R. Come back here and tell, yeah, I want to cut these rings here, and this is going to be roughly about 2. Let's make this about 2.5 units, and then I'm counting down here 2.5 units, and then left click to select that to accept it. Then Control R again. Move my cursor here to the middle, and that's going to be about 1, 2, 2.5 units. And left click to select that, and then I can hit A to deselect all my edges, and I can now just take a look at this, rotate that, hit 5, and we can just what is it, numpad, well, let's select it. I guess I do have it selected. Hit numpad, oops, no, I'm still in edit mode, object mode, and then hit 0 up on that. Now, if you want to see your edges while you're modeling, which I actually like to see my edges, this is not that useful for me. I'm going to go over here to my transforms. And by the way, if you have lost your transforms, if you hit E, that's going to bring up your transform information here. And if you need to know, I think it's going to be on the other side. That's in. And then the other side, I forget, is T. T is for tools, yeah. Okay, so, no, it's actually not in here, sorry. We're going to go here to my object rollout here. You see a little box here. And then under my display, I'm going to tell it to show my wireframes and draw all my vertices. So even if I don't have this selected, or if I'm not in, if I hit A to select none, even when I don't have it selected, or if I'm not in sub-object mode, I can still see my edges, and that's kind of what I want as a modeler, just be able to see what's going on. Okay, so let's select that. Right click. Let's go down here to edit mode. Once again, I can just hit tab to toggle between those two. Now we're going to go to hit down here for faces. We're going to right click right on this little dot. And that's going to give us that face right there in the middle. And let's go to the 3 button, and maybe 5 if you need to go to orthographic. And now what I want to do is, if I hit G and move it up, I want to constrain it on the Z axis, and that's up. and I want to put this, I'm going to actually make it an hit control and see if I can put a, now that looks about right. That looks like it's about 2 units. And so I moved it 2 units up. Let's take a look at what that looks like compared to my finished piece, and that looks about right. It might be up just a little bit too much. Let me zoom in here, see if I can actually see how many units that is. Ooh, that's wrong. That's not what I want. Ooh, nope. I'm guessing that's about 2 units. I guess that's about 2 units. Yeah, that's fine. So once again, you're not going to have this image, so you'll just have to use this. Well, actually, yeah, I think you will have this image. I'm going to give you this image. That's right. So back to Blender. Actually, I believe if I go back to my reference image. Oh, we have to fix it so it's not poking out here on the side. That's the last thing we want to do, and we can go to the next video. So if I go to the 9 key, I always get these mixed. 3, it's not it. It's not 1. Yeah, it's 1. Actually, that's not bad. If we go to wireframe, which is going to be nope, Z. Shift and move this. So you can see here how these 2 lines are a little bit out of kilter. It should be a nice straight line here, matching that line, and this should be a nice straight line matching that line. What we're going to do, we're just going to scale these in just a little bit, so these edges, so they will match. Or I can actually do it all at once. Since I have this bottom face selected, you can see here I have this bottom face. I'm going to go back to my orthographic view, so I can do this. 5, sorry, 3, no, sorry, 1, and toggle between orthographic and perspective with 5, and go down here to 1. Oops, there we go. Oh, by the way, I forgot to turn on my keys here. Sorry. I'm going to go here and turn on my screencast keys so you can actually see what I'm doing. Sorry about that, people. So, boy. So now with this bottom polygon selected, I'm going to hit S to scale, and I want to constrain this on the X. And you can see how now I can scale this, and as I scale this in, well, I guess I can't do it all at once. So I'm going to concentrate first on yeah, I cannot do this all at once. But you can see how these lines, these angled lines on the outside can be, that's like, for instance, wrong. That's getting close, except the inside edges are still wrong. Now the inside edges are closer to correct, but the outside one. So I'm going to fix the inside edges first. You can see here how that's now a straight line. And now I'm going to have to go to vertex mode and select those. And for that, I'm just going to toggle to perspective mode, rotate this around, and grab what it looks like it's going to be these outside. I'm going to have to grab these vertices. All right, go grab this edge. I can just rotate this, grab this edge. Okay. And then let's go back to orthographic, and let's go back to my numpad. And now with that, hit G, no, sorry, S to scale it. And you can see how I can scale it. And look at that, actually it just lets me scale it. I don't even have to tell it to constrain it because it can really only scale one direction. And now I've made them so they're nice and straight. And now that's working. Now perspective. Let's go back to hit Z, turn on my display here, and that's now my ramp with the feet. Let's save this, and this is going to be called feet. I'm going to actually put numbers in front of these. This is 02 feet. I didn't do the first one, but okay. And save as Blender file. And now that's 02 feet.